Hello, everyone, and welcome to another evening of the Absolutely Women's Football Show. And to Emma, no, I haven't lost my watch. We were just chatting away about Jonas Eidevall, which I know loads of people can't wait for us to talk about in the chat. But of course, we can't do it all by ourselves. And how are you? It's been a while. How are you doing?
It has, and to be fair, the last time I came on here, we got beat 5-0 off Birmingham, and I thought I'd never failed as bad all season. You brought us back on now, and we've just lost 2-1 to our local rival. So, yeah, I'm all right. I've had a tooth taken out yesterday, so I'm in a little bit of pain, but apart from all that, I'm good. How are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah. We've had a few days to just digest, haven't we? And
I'm still furious.
And that's why we're doing the championship first, folks. And Paul, how are you?
I've had worse weeks.
As you can tell by the smile on his face. Paul,
yeah, it has been a few days, hasn't it?
It has.
If you have a lover of chaos, women's football has absolutely delivered this week.
And here we are, the absolute lovers of chaos. And we can't wait. Now, a couple of people in the chat have said, has our Chelsea fanatic got lost upstairs? Thought Rosie didn't have any stairs. You know what? She hasn't been kidnapped. Don't worry, because she's here. Hello, Rosie.
She's in that Man United basement.
Blink twice if you need
I'm
help.
not going to find a lamp at some point.
I just love that. So, for people who maybe didn't see on Twitter, why are you in a cave? What's going on?
I've got no laptop, and the kitchen's being renovated, so I'm using the family computer that's currently in the loft.
Oh, the family computer.
It is.
I love how you've got a family computer. It's lovely, that.
That's
Well,
really
it's technically my dad's, but he's had to do all his meetings up here, so I guess it's my turn.
It's your turn in the loft.
This
But
is not
you know
right.
what? You're still here. And we applaud your commitment to chaos, which is
Against all
absolutely
odds, I've made it.
Are you looking forward to a nice, calm, rational discussion that I'm sure will not give you a chance to annoy Arsenal fans in any way, shape, or form?
What do you think?
And we can't wait. And you know what? Thank you to everyone for joining us already. Mark, you're always nice and early. Good evening. Good evening to Emma. Good evening to Matthew. Good evening to PB Talks as well. Good evening. Welcome. I think Muncie wants to talk about a particular team. I'm not quite sure which one though, but we will get to it. Good evening to Simon. Good evening to Graham, who's reminded everyone the award nominators, Team Chaos. Yes, absolutely. And you know what? We can't wait to talk about it. So what we're going to do, running order for the evening, latest news, we're going to start with the championship, and then we're going to go into the WSL. And then we're going to talk about Lionesses call-ups as well. So it feels like there's not a lot of, I don't know, there's just not a lot of chat around the Lionesses recently. So we are going to do it. Vålerenga have just got one goal back. So it's currently 2-1. Arsenal.
Please, oh God. Please.
I thank you for doing this as well. I don't know what you're on that for.
That's a really posh loft.
Yeah.
I just love the colour difference between the shadows and then the light and airy.
It's got the piano.
Hey, she's doing well by Clacker Lane Services. She's got a piano in her loft.
Rosie, you strike me as a woman who knows how to play the piano.
That's such a compliment, but no.
I reckon you were forced as a schoolgirl to play the piano, weren't you?
I wish I was forced. Then that'd be more interesting. I can kind of play the ukulele. That's it.
You can play the ukulele, lovely.
Yeah, I'll play it for you.
You can kind of play the ukulele.
If we need a musical interlude one week, Rosie, you're up.
Can you bring it to the awards night and play it like just before we go out?
Yeah, well, I can do Happy Birthday.
Okay, we can work with that. In fact, you should learn the theme song to the pod on your ukulele, and then that can be
Oh,
Yeah.
it's shiny. I don't like this. I might have to pop out and get a lamp.
Or just casual pop out for a lamp. All right. Well,
I
so
may pop
thanks, Rosie.
downstairs.
I love the fact
When you
that
back?
I love the fact that my Coventry slang brain went, why is she going to get punched? Like, I was like, just pop out for a lamp. Right, in Coventry, that's getting punched in the face, which is
Well,
me
fingers
meeting
crossed.
Arsenal fans.
I was going to say she hasn't started talking about Chelsea Arsenal yet. This time. This time. Right. Okay. Good evening to Sean, who's just joined us. Sean, it's been a mad 6 minutes, and we haven't even started talking about any football yet. But yeah, there we go. Matthew's just said, I'm calling it now. If Team Chaos win the award, Rosie plays live on the podcast.
Sure, I'll agree to that. Yeah.
And you've heard it here first. She is.
If we win, play it for you guys. Only if we win.
You should have said that last week. It would have got like thousands of extra votes.
Yeah. That's
Damn it. Next year. That's
if we don't win, I've got room in my loft for whoever didn't vote for us.
If we win all three, I'll play any instrument you want, to be totally honest. Like,
I was going to say, what constitutes as play? Because I'm sure a few of us could pick up an instrument and just do a few notes.
I can do the triangle. I'm good on that. I can like
triangle. There we go.
Pretty much it.
I used to be cracking on the recorder.
Oh yeah, I was going on the recorder. Yeah.
Did you know the easiest instrument to play in a Caribbean band is the triangle? You should just stand at the back and sing.
Wow.
That's probably.
I was going to make a Bermuda Triangle joke and then thought, no, I want to see where Paul's going with this.
I didn't want to risk the accent because it's probably racist at this point.
And considering where women's football is today of all days,
yeah.
let's not chance it, shall we? So should we talk about some football? Right, okay. So latest Champions League scores then. Man City managed a last-minute winner, 3-2 against St. Paulton earlier. Bunny Shaw being inevitable as always. Reports this week, though, that Chloe Kelly could possibly leave at the end of her contract. Do we think that there's any truth to that? Or is it the media maybe making a bigger deal of it as it is? Anyone got any thoughts?
I think it's an agent.
An agent, then?
I think it's a lioness annoyed that she's not automatically in the team anymore.
Well, there's competition, isn't there? For literally every single place at City. So, and she was playing tonight, so it's not as if she's not getting chances. So we shall see. We shall see on that one. Bayern Munich also beat Juventus 2-0 as well. And Arsenal, as we've just said a couple of minutes ago, are 2-1 up against Vålerenga. I say that differently every time I say it, Vålerenga, sorry. And Barcelona are still 2-0 up against Hammarby as well. So we'll keep you updated. I know loads of people in the chat are watching as well. So yeah, we're gonna keep you updated on all the latest news happening right at the moment. And good evening to our lovely Sam as well. Sam's loving the piano, Rosie, and needs to hear it. You know what? It's a new pod favourite. It's only been on a couple of minutes. It's done. Now, of course, big news this week about Arsenal. And as Paul, you've still got it in your name. Yes, you have. We're going to talk about this one as Jonas Eidevall resigned, not sacked, resigned, as Arsenal head coach the day before, of course, this was yesterday, the day before his team face Vålerenga in the Champions League. Now, assistant coach René Slagers has taken over in the interim. And we've also had, because Casey Stoney was being thrown out as maybe a replacement, it has been confirmed she's not currently in the running, but maybe you never know in the future. Now, what did we think of this? Paul, I'll let you take the lead on this one. Was it the right time? Because everyone was kind of gunning for him to be gone, weren't they?
I mean, there have been many, what do these four things have in common? Okay. The Titanic, Derby County's 2007-2008 football season. Actually, no, I can't think of any others that aren't maybe offensive, so we'll just go with those two. Neither of them were as spectacular a disaster as Arsenal's last 6 days or so. Like, honestly, just in 56 hours, they lost to Chelsea at the Emirates after Jonas Eidevall had specifically said, we're working on set pieces. And then they conceded after 4 minutes. Then on Sunday, Beth Mead did an interview, which she then had to clarify, which is PR speak for, I didn't mean any of it. Oh, shit, please don't have a go at me. Then on Monday morning, there was a massive scandal on Arsenal Twitter, where one of the prominent fans was discovered writing fairly steamy fan fiction about players, which is fine in itself, but apparently it's something massively bad and puritanical to care about players' relationships now, but who knows. Then, Monday afternoon, it turned out that Arsenal had banned Vusha Littlejohn from the Emirates for criticising Jonas Eidevall in order to defend their manager, who then decided to resign 12 hours later. I mean, honestly, just...
I don't think you could have wrote it. Like, if someone wrote that down and went, right, we're going to act this out in a drama, people go, but you wouldn't believe it.
You know, Reggie Perrin is looking at that thinking, at least my day isn't that bad. Like, that's one for the old folks, Rosie. You might not get that one. But, like,
just like, I'm just going to go at the piano. Hang on. Give us...
yeah, just... I actually admire him because he controlled the manner of his leaving, and he made it dignified.
Yeah.
When he was being treated like absolute crap, which, I mean, performance on the pitch, he might have earned the criticism, you know, but things like people turning up with fake P45s in the crowd to Arsenal versus Chelsea and Jonas out graffiti on a railway bridge. And
yeah, I mean, it was a big thing. I mean, people were really, really polarized on it. But Anne, how did you feel about the situation?
I'm quite sad about it because I really like Jonas. I think he's a very sharp-dressed man. And you know what, as well as, and I know you probably expect better from the Arsenal manager, but he has delivered trophies in every season that he's been there. You know, yes, the League Cup and all that, but they beat Chelsea, you know, and not many teams can say that. And to be honest, when because like obviously he did a lot of coverage on, I want to say the World Cup a couple of years ago, didn't he, on the men's side of things? And I thought he spoke really, really well. So I think he's a clever chap. I think he's a decent manager, but it was inevitable, wasn't it? I think it was coming towards an abrupt end. But I agree with Paul that at least he's controlled his narrative. He's kind of went, you know what, sorry, I'm going to go. I do quite find Paul's remark of the Titanic that had 1,517 deaths wasn't as bad as Arsenal's last week in football, but never mind. But like, the thing is with Arsenal, who do they get now? You know, who are they going to get? And I think that's the most interesting thing.
Well, that's the question, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Casey Stoney would have been my first choice, but apparently she's ruled herself out.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, boy? You always get like a bit of a bounce, and it would be interesting to see now with, you know, the rumours were that you know that he'd lost to players this and you know how they react. I know they're winning tonight, but you expect Arsenal to beat Vålerenga, don't you? But the way that they react in the league, because obviously they've had a bad start in the league, and see what they can do in that. But yeah, I am a little bit sad because I quite liked that, to be honest.
But no, you're right. He always came across as very well spoken and quite always for the players and quite softly spoken as well. But then you saw him on the sidelines and saw that emotional slash, don't say angry for the backlash, but he was very intense, wasn't he, on the sidelines? So then everything, when Viv came out and left and was talking about respect, and you just think, was there more to this under the surface? And maybe that's why it's all come together. But
I think it's probably started last year, the League Cup final, when he had all that issues with Emma Hayes. Because he was, to be fair to him, I know Emma probably shouldn't have pushed him, you know what I mean? But he was being a little bit of a silly boy on the sidelines, wasn't he? You know, screaming and stuff. And then there was that there was that footage that got released of Viv, Viv and him having a little bit of a slangy match and stuff. And with Viv leaving as well, you're always going to be under pressure. You had, like, Arsenal had to start very, very well this season with Viv leaving, and they haven't. So it was probably a sense of inevitability about it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Rosie, have you and your Invisibility Cloak got any thoughts on Jonas leaving?
Sorry, I'm trying to find a new background, but it's being really annoying. Anyway, that's not the priority here.
Just bring the legs back.
Yeah, it was inevitable. I think that on one hand, he was kind of used as a scapegoat for a lot of Arsenal's issues. I mean, you've got a certain set piece coach, maybe a few players that have their time's up. But I think he was used as a scapegoat for a lot of it. However, when you're not getting results and it's consistently losing to those like lower table teams, when you're drawing to Everton, losing to West Ham last season, you think, what's going on there? And it was, I think it was a case of either the PR narrative of him resigning, it actually isn't true, or he kind of,
No, it's loads of questions. Again, love to be a fly on the wall and see what happens. But I saw a graphic, and I don't know if it was Soccer Donna or if it was She's a Ball or something like that. Gareth Southgate has been a name flying around to replace Jonas. So yeah, is there a name out there that, apart from Casey Stoney, because we said she's been ruled out, has anyone heard anything? Because I've only heard people that it's probably not going to be.
I don't think there is a manager who'll want that job.
Mm-mm.
Well, no, that's wrong. There are plenty of managers who will want that job. Any manager with career savvy who they might actually go for won't want that job. Dear God. Dear God, that would Sean, that would be like all my Christmases had come at once. Honestly. There would need to be an emergency pod, which is just me screaming with joy for half an hour. Like,
and we'd watch. That's the thing, yeah.
But like, this is the thing. They're all saying he'd lost the players, but the players quit on him. Like, I have a major problem with, and I don't know whether you guys are like this as well, but I have a major problem as a fan of a men's team, which is massively underachieving at the moment as well. I have a problem with the narrative that, it's definitely the manager's fault. I fully agree with the talk that he was made the scapegoat, because certain senior players who are immune from criticism in the media quit on him. I think Leah Williamson quit on him. I think Kim Little possibly quit on him. I think Leslie Russo quit on him because she's just not.
There was a massive disconnect, wasn't there? The last couple of games, it just wasn't.
Yeah, I just think that we're seeing player power in women's football now. I think, and I think this is an example of it. As soon as Eidevall, possibly through letting Miedema go, because there was talk of Beth Mead being unhappy. There was talk of, unrest over that and a disconnect over players being unhappy with the way Miedema was treated. If Miedema has been very, very Dutch and very, very guarded, but still very, very scathing in the way she's talked about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Jonas was onto a loser the moment that the pressure started to build. Possibly the moment he or Claire Wheatley, who has not even been mentioned by most people as a factor in the problems, this amazing director of football, who presumably had to sign off on things like letting Miedema go. And I just think that Eidevall saw the writing on the wall and decided to control the narrative because he knew he was a dead man walking after that Chelsea game.
Yeah, and I think when it's all come to that point, there's only one thing he can do, isn't there? I think that was his only option.
And he'll get a job. He will get a job very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Ideally, it would be Manchester United to replace Mark Skinner because
just to swap. Yeah.
Just because that would bring out all the narratives, and I think he could do things with Man United that Mark Skinner can't. Because he is incredibly tactically astute. And Rosie won't thank me for saying this, but there were times in his rivalry with Emma Hayes where he absolutely owned her tactically. The 4-1 Arsenal win against Chelsea was a tactical masterclass.
And you just think what's happened.
Yeah.
From that to where they currently are. And it's an interesting one. Matthew just put, I did see Phil Neville being linked with the Arsenal job. You know things about it. But yeah, it's just watch this space for what's going to happen next. Because even Renee Slagers, didn't she? She said when she was asked about it, she was like, I'm not thinking about the future. We literally need to get through a Champions League match, and that's it. The future can come as it may. Now, the last thing on latest news before we get into the Championship. Did everyone see the absolute, apologies for my language, shit show of Boss Nation earlier? Now, for those who may not have seen it, it's been less than 24 hours. I think they announced it. Was it this morning they announced it?
It was late last night. So it was
late last night.
It was
so it kind of all kicked off here.
Yeah, it kicked off here overnight.
Yeah.
Because it was afternoon Eastern US time.
Yeah. And for those people who missed it, if you still can see the video, although I think it has gone private now, essentially, the NWSL are expanding again. And there will be a new Boston-based team in 2026. Now, you might think, oh, that sounds great. However, their slogan was too many balls. Okay?
And I don't know why I found that funny. I'm just going to really childish sense of humor.
So that was their website, right? They'd actually registered that toomanyballs.com as their official website of the club. It's still registered, but not live, funnily enough. Now, the issue with this is they alienated pretty much 99% of the women's football community because their slogan, apart from too many balls, was it no balls necessary? Right at the end,
something else, yeah.
So all of this promo video was essentially all about balls for some bizarre reason. I showed it to Georgie and I went, "What's that for?" And she was like, "Oh, men's football team." No, nothing to do with the men's football team. But it was just bizarre, wasn't it? And a lot of people have said, well, it's completely misogynistic, incredibly transphobic as well. And even Quinn, of course, famous transgender, non-binary international player for Canada, and Seattle Reign came out and said, you've hidden my comment on Instagram about this being transphobic. Calling out transphobia should not be hidden. Now, there's now been a statement from the club, okay, saying, and I put it in the chat so I wouldn't lose it. Bear with. That they've essentially completely missed the mark. Yeah, there we go. It says, from us to you, while we had hoped to create a bold and buzzworthy brand launch campaign, we missed the mark. We fully acknowledge that the content of the campaign did not reflect the safe and welcoming environment we strive to create for all, and we apologise to the LGBTQ+ community and to the trans community in particular for the hurt we have caused. We are proud to be part of the most inclusive sports league in the world and are committed to upholding the unifying values that define the NWSL and our club. Thank you to all who have held us accountable by calling for us to do better. We hear you and we will together. Now, Paul, any thoughts on this mess? Because it was awful, wasn't it?
I'm just trying to work out whether it's Arsenal's PR team looking at Boston's PR team going, at least we're not them, or the other way around. Because, you know,
awful.
It's a rubbish name. Boss Nation is a rubbish name. Now the idea behind it apparently is that it's an anagram of Bostonian, which was pretty much the reaction that everybody had when they were told it. Just
if you've got to explain it, it's not fun.
And there was the problems with stuff as well that they didn't mention the Boston Breakers, who were one of the founding members of the NWSL.
Yes.
They didn't mention the Boston Fleet, who have a horrific flipping name, but are a pro women's hockey team who went to the women's equivalent of the Stanley Cup final last year and have one of the best players in the world in Hilary Knight playing for them, who made a point of, upon seeing this, in a classic female athlete fashion. Female athletes are much better at just doing the kind of really cutting, jokey tweets, aren't they, than male athletes, mostly. And basically Hilary Knight tweeted something along the lines of, "Hey, NWSL Boston, any chance we can be friends?" And then you had Sydney Leroux quote tweet the video with just, "How about blue balls?" You had Bethany Belser, who is a famously outspoken NWSL player and US international, tweet something along the lines of, "Please tell me that isn't the real video. You're going to post the real video, right?"
Yeah. Because lots of people thought it was a Mickey take, didn't they?
Yeah. You obviously had Quinn with their very open criticism, and then their very open response to that criticism being silenced, which drew even more attention to it.
Yeah.
And how is it possible to piss off? I mean, I'd be proud of pissing off that many people at once. I
saw someone say the women's football community, the fact that we've all come together in hatred shows that we can all come together and put all differences aside and just really come together to, get it taken down, get it removed.
The thing I can't get over, as is always the case with stuff like this, that had to get through multiple people, some of whom are probably considered good at their jobs.
Apparently, they're bored as well as all women. Apparently.
Really?
I mean, I saw someone say it. I haven't fact checked that. So, yeah, if anyone knows any different. But
if they are, they're just I mean, I am a man, so therefore I cannot comment on such things. And I'm very aware that I can't comment on things like internalized misogyny much or diagnose it or anything like that. But if the board are all women and they've seen that advertising slogan, and presumably they are people who are vaguely aware of the circumstances of women's football and the fact that it is proud of welcoming people of all genders and sexualities.
Yeah.
And it is a fan base that is sometimes overly ready to find and question stuff. It's hyper aware of things like this because a lot of the fan base live that in their daily lives, so they're going to be hyper aware of any sort of transphobia or potential homophobia or microaggressions or anything like that. And presumably they're aware of this, looked at this, saw the whole thing and not one of them thought, do we reckon this is a bit transphobic? Do we reckon this is a bit saying you can only be a woman if you haven't got balls? Do we reckon that this is excluding cis male fans as well? Do we reckon that this is... Nobody asked any of those questions.
Nope. They all just went, oh, people think ball jokes are funny. Let's make an advert about balls. And it hasn't, there's no depth to their thinking whatsoever, because if there was even marginally some depth, they wouldn't have even thought about it. They wouldn't have even tried. But the amount of people, again, I'm just looking, it's kind of the outrage that it sparked, and everyone have all turned into what it is. Yeah, so it's an all-female core ownership group led by the founder of Juno Equity, Jennifer Epstein, a minority owner of the Boston Celtics, Stephanie Connaughton, Amy Danoff, and Anna Palmer will be managing partners.
So at least one of them is aware of how to market the sports team, because they run one of the biggest basketball teams in the world.
They also said it's an important moment for women's sports in Boston, and for Bostonians to say they are fully represented in the team name, brand identity, and even in the tongue-in-cheek tone of the Unveil campaign. It's tongue-in-cheek, and then there's just god-awful.
I don't think many Bostonians thought that they were represented. Certainly not any LGBT Bostonian, or any female Bostonian, or any women's football fan Bostonian.
Awful. Yeah, and the fact that, like you said, they didn't mention actually like successful women's teams who are already in the area, but instead they looked at, was it Tom Brady?
They had clips of Angel City as well.
Yeah, and it's like, right, okay. So yeah, it completely missed the mark. But if anyone sees headlines going around about that is what's this for. But yeah, please do go have a look, as Boss Nation will be playing in 2026, and hopefully they'll have changed their marketing by then. Loads of people are saying, why is it not like Coven FC because of Salem and the witch trials, and like why didn't they embrace that kind of in their marketing?
Well, you just call them the Boston Witches, and then you've got the whole join the coven, and we put a spell on you, and all of that. And just
people were like, did they talk to anyone from Boston? Like, did they actually do any research? Because that would have been the straightforward thing to do. So who knows? But again, we'll keep you updated on that one. But
really,
yeah,
they've called it a shit show before. It's more the balls up, really, isn't it?
Hey, well done.
Going, but
I saw the exact moment and thought of that joke, because he leaned forward, and it's like, right, he's just waiting for the moment now.
I'm ready for this.
I was surprised Graham never contributed there. Graham's normally quick off the mark.
Graham's in mourning after Charlton at the weekend.
I was going to say, we'll get to that. Graham, we won't upset you too much just yet. But yeah, so shall we talk about the weekend then? Sorry, Anne. Now we had 3 derbies this weekend, didn't we? So we'll get the one out the way that really upset me and Ant. We're going to talk about the Wear derby, which ended, unfortunately, Sunderland 1, Newcastle 2. And I'm sorry, but talk us through it, because it wasn't all horrendous, and there were some good bits of play in there. But where did it all go wrong?
Probably after the first 20 minutes when we hadn't scored, you could just sense Newcastle were gonna take over. Like I said, it wasn't all bad, I suppose, but we started well, but that's been our problem this season. When we've been on top, we haven't been able to score, or we haven't been able to take our opportunities when presented, and that's all Newcastle did. Really. There was nothing much to split both sides. I actually thought it was a poor game, and I didn't think we obviously didn't play very well, but I didn't think Newcastle did either. Like, when you're watching, you think Newcastle are possibly one of the teams who want to go up. That team won't go up to play like that every week. They'll get beat off Charlton on Sunday if they play like that, because they weren't great. But to be fair to Beth Lumsden, she's took her first goal brilliantly. It's fantastic to watch it back. I think our right back, Jess Brown, who I really like, but I think she could do a lot better there. She just lets Beth come in onto her right foot, and Beth Lumsden's 2-footed, so it's quite difficult to do that. But you've got to be stronger there, and they've gone 1-0 up, and we still often puffed. I think we should have scored just after that when Eleanor Dale's gone through, and Claudia Maud's made a good save, but I expect we striker to score there. And then the second goal's just not good enough from our point of view. It's a direct corner. I mean, Lumsden puts it into a really good place, but we should be defending that a lot better. The fact that there's not really been an argument about the Newcastle player having two hands on our goalkeeper stopping her from jumping's new point, really, because it shouldn't have got that far. I think it's a foul, don't get us wrong, but and then even then you were kind of thinking from then on, they were just going to go and win quite comfortably because they'd won the midfield battle by then. They were playing a lot better than us, and then we scored. I think it's gone down as an own goal, hasn't it? But it was given Emily Scar on the day, and you're thinking, right, let's go for it now. And I still think, like, as much as I think Mel Ray's forgotten more about football than I'll ever know. I just think she's left the subs a little bit too late. Like, bringing Libby McInnes on was our first. So by that time, Newcastle had made 3. And this is like Newcastle who were winning 2-0. They didn't need to make them subs. And we trying to get something from the game and not bring on, an England under-19 international and Katie Watson who can, change games. And she played well when she came on, not bringing on to the 83rd minute. I thought it was just a little bit too slow. But overall, not good enough, and that's the problem we've been seeing that pretty much all season, bar the London game and Charlton game, where we actually played really well against Charlton, but we still didn't win. We scored 3 goals away from home and conceded 3, but we were winning 3-1 with 10, 15 minutes to go. So you've got to get 3 points there. And then I just think Newcastle played the occasion better than what we did, and that's the disappointing part of it. They seemed to want it more than what we did. And I think that was what was gutting about the whole result was, they probably deserved it and we didn't. And that it happened. But another big game Sunday, we've got Durham, so it's another derby.
I'm going to say,
see what happens. I've just bought my tickets today, so I had to spend, 18 quid on that to watch us. To really not watch us because the viewing, the viewing opportunities at Maiden Castle aren't great. So we'll see what happens. But I'm still very disappointed, I must admit. Hopefully, I think 3 points on Sunday goes a long way. But what would go hell of a longer way is going to St. James's and beating them like that. Because I'm just sick of seeing, Newcastle. They did it last year in the men's game. They've done it on Sunday, taking, photos in front of their fans at the stadium. Like, it really just, gripes us up, you know what I mean? But on both occasions, they've really deserved it. So, fair enough.
Is there anything obvious the lasses can do for this weekend to really come back and just, I don't know, was there anything glaringly obvious, or do you think it's just a whole team ethos?
I think what's been glaringly obvious all season is we're not playing our strengths. Like last year, we obviously had the kind of, we were a surprise team, weren't we? No one was expecting us to finish anywhere near where we did. But, we were finding Katie Kitchen, a lot more regularly than what we're finding her now. Where, Tash Fenton was, getting the ball in midfield and spraying balls left, right and centre. Jenna Dia was getting the ball and doing things, making things happen. And we just completely seem to be missing them out this year. Like last week, it happened from quite an early stage that we just started, lumping the ball up to Eleanor Dale, and hopefully, because she's got pace, hopefully she would outpace their 2 centre forwards and bring something in. But it just didn't work. Our goal kicks are just ridiculous. As much as I don't want to slag Demi Lambourne up, because I actually think Demi Lambourne, although she has made mistakes this season, I think she's been made pretty much a scapegoat for every goal that goes in. But a goal kicks are literally just going out for throw-ins, and it's literally just it's inviting pressure onto us. So I think what we need to do is just go back to basics a bit. Go back to what made us a very good side last year, because it's still a good team, and I think we've added well. I know, in the Sunderland fans Facebook group, Sunderland Women's fan Facebook group, a lot of people are having a pop at Ellen Dale, but I actually think Ellen Dale's done well in the games that she's played. She just, at the minute, she just needs to score. She needs a goal. And we just need to start, doing things what we were doing last year, but doing them better. And we also need to defend a lot better as a unit. You've got like two fullbacks who are quite young in Jess Brown and Grace Eade. And I actually think Grace Eade this season's been our best player, certainly the most consistent player. But we've lost Brianna Westrop. Jessie Stapleton's come in, and I don't think she's done a bad job, but she's not Brianna Westrop, you know what I mean? And Amy Goddard, I think that just the partnership is just getting used to each other at the minute. But we've got to defend better, and we've got to score more goals. It's just simple as that. It's pretty basic kind of stuff, you know what I mean? It sounds like it's such a basic thing, but that's literally what we've got to do. We've got to start defending better as a unit, and we need to, give Ellen the Dale more chances, need to score more goals. Yeah,
literally back to football 101, and hopefully they can get those 3 points at the weekend. Because, like you said, that confidence in that win will go a long way, especially how Durham have been performing as well to get the win over them. Even psychologically, it's going to be.
And as well as much as no game's easy in the Championship, and it really isn't. You've got to look at our start, and it was a very difficult start. Birmingham, London City, Charlton, Southampton, and then 2 derbies. It's a difficult start, that, but the games are getting, I don't want to say easy because I think that's wrong, but less difficult. We've got the Blackburns, the Sheffield United, and Portsmouth to play. But the problem is because we haven't started well, those games are now becoming 6-pointers because we don't want them to catch us up and get drawn into a relegation battle. So it is putting pressure. I think Durham on Sunday isn't a must-win, but it's certainly a must-not-lose game because then we've lost 2 derbies in a week, and we've only won 1 game from your first 6. And then it's starting to put a lot of pressure on the side. And then the problem is when you get into that mentality of, you're playing all right, but not winning, it's harder when you're going up against, the sides that you're expected to beat and then having the extra pressure of we've got to win, you know what I mean? So it's worrying to a degree because I just don't see, if we lose on Sunday, I don't see how you can pick them players back up. I think it's such a big game, but we'll see what happens because Durham have started really well. Everyone had Durham to go down, didn't I? Had Durham to go down. You know what I mean? Especially if it was 2 to go down, Durham were in me 2. And a lot of people had Durham to struggle. They've been fantastic. Fair play to them. You know what I mean? They've done what we should do. Durham this season have gone back to basics. What made them a good side? Big, strong team who do not give you an opportunity to play your football, and then try and counter attack. They've started really well, so it's a difficult one Sunday. Really difficult.
It's difficult, but fingers crossed. Like you said, back to basics, and we know the team are in there, don't we? We know the quality they've got, and it's just making sure that that's coming through. And
100%. I mean, the one thing I think we do miss, the players that have left. I think we do miss a Molly Rouse, a player who can come on, who's beaten them and done it now. Obviously, I thought Libby McInnes, when she came on the other day, played really well. But you kind of relying, if that plan A is not working, you're relying on a young lass and to come on and produce some magic, which is quite difficult for Libby. And then the next option there will be Emily Kassab, who is going to be a wonderful footballer, but she's 17. So it's far too much pressure on her as well, still learning the game. So that's the one thing I would say we do miss. We do miss that, that extra midfielder who's got that nous, to be honest.
Yeah, that proper experience to bring them in it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, watch this space for this one. Rosie, are you there? Because just sometimes I can just see something like wiggling near Newskin.
I went to get a lamp, but I don't actually know where the plug is. So, bear with.
Right, so should I come back to you then?
Yes, please.
Right, you give us a shout. I tell you what, do you need to go at 1:30, is it?
Yeah.
No. We'll just stick with you then, Ant, for the other games then. We'll come to...
Just have the hashtag Rosie being Rosie. Like I think Matthew just said, why am I laughing so much at Rosie being Rosie? Just a montage of it. Sam, montage of Rosie being Rosie for awards.
Entertainment.
End of year
What can we
montage.
say? Pianos and finding plugs. There we go.
Lamps. How come you've got a lamp but not a plug attached to the lamp?
No, I've got the plug. I just don't have the socket.
Oh, the socket, right? I see. Yeah, I get you now.
Needs an extension. That's what you
I
need.
just hope Graham says Rosie is dimension hopping. So are you in a dimension where Mark Skinner's a football manager?
I'll try.
That's because she's been sucked into the phantom world there.
There must be a socket. Bear with.
Okay, enjoy. Oh, carry on. Right, okay, right. We can now. Right, and we'll come to the Bristol game next then. So this was Bristol 2, Blackburn 1. Now, watching this one, an injury time winner because Blackburn nearly got the better of them, didn't they? What did you make of this one?
Yeah, to be fair, Blackburn, almost. I think it would have been a smash and grab for them, to be fair, because I thought I watched that. I thought Bristol City played really well. I'll get that out. And I think, Bristol City probably should have been, out of sight before it even got to a point where they had to rely on a late winner. Sorry, but they went in front like really early on, didn't they? It was Lexi Lloyd-Smith, who she's had some really bad news. I think she's like a brother passed away during the week or a couple of weeks ago, and obviously Bristol City did a minute's applause for him in the 20th minute. So fair play to the club for that. But some of the chances they missed, Abby Harrison missing a decent opportunity as well, and you expect the chance that Abby has to score, especially how good she is. I think Amy Rogers hit like a one from about 80 yards out and it just went over the bar. They just they played really well, but what the problem is, as I mentioned before, in our game, when you're on top, you've got to start scoring, and they should have been out of sight before then. Let Blackburn in. It's a bad mistake by Fran Bentley in the goal of Bristol City, and that's quite it's uncharacteristic because I think Fran Bentley's a fantastic goalkeeper, but she's just went to clear it, completely mishit it. It's got the Blackburn player. She's banged it in. It was Edwards, wasn't it, who scored for Blackburn? And then you're thinking, well, it's a great point for Blackburn, to be fair. But and Blackburn should have won it. You could have won it. Sorry, they had a free kick. Decent effort, hit the bar, and then. I mean, the winning goal is a fantastic goal, to be fair. But again, it's come from a goalkeeping error, a kicking error where, the Blackburn goalkeeper you just need to boot that as hard as you can. Stop playing out from the back in the 90+ third minute. But I mean, all fairness to Emily Stein, that is a wonderful finish. She just takes it so well, and it's a goal to win any game. You know what I mean? So fair play to her. And Bristol City just seem to be finding their feet again, don't they? After a little bit of a horrible summer, where we all know what happened with them in the WSL, that they didn't have many points, but they seem to be finding the feet now, and they're getting to a point where you've got to be looking at them thinking if they can win a few more games, then they'll be up there with your London cities.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can tell that they still want to fight to be up there, and hopefully for promotion back again, because they know what it takes to be in that league more than anyone. Yeah.
They know how to win it as well, don't they? A lot of them players know how to win the league. So, fair play to them. I'm glad they won. I quite like Bristol City. So,
yeah, they're good.
Everyone fluffy underdog, aren't they?
I thought you said fluffy underdog. I was like, maybe. Oh, Rosie's just gone completely right. Okay.
Oh, the lamp
pulled the plug out.
She's had enough.
Like they found the plug and blew herself up. No more, Rosie.
She'll come back with her hair on end. Like
I don't get that comment down the bottom from Emily. I'm such a part-time. Is that on here or in general?
It's a busy life.
I think it's a you have to leave at 9:30 joke.
All right, yeah, I do have. I have family commitments. I'm very sorry.
Also, can I just say one of our colleagues from the now also award nominated Lower League podcast, Turf Morehouse.
I was going to say I was just about to put it on. Good evening. But yeah, I think Burnley, the way they've been playing. I went to see Burnley Notts Forest the other week. And yeah, give it a couple of seasons, give it the right investment, and I really hope that Burnley do make it up as well.
I think they're really lucky because obviously they've got JJ Watt investing in them, who's a legend in American football.
Rosie's lost. Rosie, where are you?
Rosie is in another dimension.
I've unplugged the computer.
No clue how to turn it on.
Watch, it's probably like a computer from the 1990s, and it's like a Commodore or something.
Press the power button.
She's literally not seen it before.
Rosie, there's a little. Hold on. If she can't turn the computer on, how is she watching the podcast?
I also think I'm stuck behind the desk.
Oh, this is a podcast, Sam.
Oh,
you know how on the Lower League podcast we always have Shah being Shah and just moments where everyone's cracking up. Rosie is like the southern version of Shah. That's what it is. For every northern version of something, there must be a southern version. Rosie is like the southern version of Shah.
She's on her phone, of course, because
She's
all these
going to injure herself at this awards night, isn't she? I can proper imagine Rosie falling down like several flights of stairs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or something.
I think we just need a live stream of the night of just Rosie. In fact, we'll give Rosie like a head cam and just like get her to document the night, because that's gonna be great. Chris, welcome. Perfect time to come in. Yeah, we've completely lost Rosie. We have no idea where she is. Rosie, if you give us a description of the computer, probably we've all had it at some point, so we can tell you how to turn it on.
There's a big button with a line and a circle on it. That's the on switch. Yeah. Or if it's a really old computer, it's like a light switch. It's like as you were. Does that mean it's booting back up again? Like is Windows 95 firing up? Boom, 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 boom. There you go. That's what the noise. I mean, again, to be fair, she could be PR manager for Arsenal at this rate, or launch a Boston NWSL team. But
I love that we said, Rosie, what kind of computer is it? It's a black one.
That narrows it down, doesn't it?
That really narrows it down. It's a bit like, what kind of car is it? A silver one. Doesn't help. It doesn't help.
Can she not ask her dad how to turn it on? It's a dad's computer, isn't it? Or the family. It's the family computer. One of the family not help?
Really, one of them's got to know, right?
I've literally just went upstairs in the loft. There you go. She's there all night, bless her.
Did she turn it on? Did she go up there and turn it on? Was it already on?
I'm assuming it was already on.
Was it on standby mode or something? These are all the questions.
I mean, if and when she does come back, we're going to give her the biggest round of applause for figuring it out.
I mean, it's a good job a football club know what they're doing, isn't it? But yeah, back to the point with Burnley. I just saw that. Graham, stop it. That's your test match.
Why do I get the feeling you sat at the football awards at Tottenham and we'll get a text at the Emirates?
She's at Highbury. She's there like, guys, I'm on the North Bank. What's going on? I've somehow ended up at Highbury. Like,
what's this row of houses? I don't understand.
Where's the pitch?
What is this?
But no, Burnley with JJ Watt, it was very strange him just randomly investing and picking Burnley, but he did. And his wife is a former professional I don't know whether she's played NWSL, but one of the big things that they both talked about that attracted them to Burnley was the potential with the women's team and the fan base in general and the way it was sold to them. So yeah, I think Burnley are going to do a Southampton. I
hope so. I really, really hope so. Just quick check. Barcelona now 5-0 up against Hammarby, and it's still 2-1 for Arsenal. Right then, Anne, your last one then, really quickly. We had the other derby, South Coast derby. Portsmouth getting off to a really, really bad start, but Southampton 5-0 just completely walked all over them in this case, didn't they? What do you think?
It could have been many more as well, to be fair. I feel sorry for Portsmouth, to be honest. I think they've they've came up, and I don't think they've been ready for it. You know, and listen, it happens. You know, it happened to Watford last season, where it's just a step too far, I think, at the moment. And I really do worry about them. You know, it's a horrible result. It was a Fratton Park as well, wasn't it? So, you know, a big crowd and everything like that. I mean, we forgot to mention before, Freya, that the crowd at Sunderland's actually broke the record for a championship game in the women's game.
How did we forget that?
I know. I mean, it probably will be beaten in a few weeks' time, but you know, fair play, you know, to everyone who went. I really should have said that at the start, but yeah, 15,000 people is amazing. But and obviously Portsmouth had it at Fratton Park, big derby game. You want, you know, you really want to put on a show. And to be fair, up until the last few minutes, it was only 2-0. I say only, but they just seem to. I think the problem is with Portsmouth. I'm not 100% sure. Are they full time? I don't think they are they? I think they're part time. And the bother is, you can tell. You know, you can tell that they are running out of steam in games. And Southampton are a fantastic footballing team. You know, a really, really good side. And just pick them off, really. You know, Rihanna Dean getting a couple towards the end. Molly Pike was one of my favourite players in the league, getting a goal. Megan Collette as well. We all love Megan Collette, don't we? So, you know, it's a great result for them. It gives Southampton that the big bonus for that with a big 5-0 win. They've also beat us 3-0 is if this league comes down to goal difference at the end of it, they've already got such a healthy goal difference. But I am worried about Portsmouth. You know, you're looking at now, even though we've already played 5-6 games. Yeah. Like Portsmouth, you're thinking, where's this win going to come from? Is it Sheffield United at home? Maybe they're looking at. But it's for me, it's between them two who goes down. The two very poor sides this year, I'm afraid.
And it was just as soon as they just kept coming, didn't they? They got to a point, Portsmouth, where they just couldn't keep the goals out any longer. And you feel for them, because I think a couple of them have signed professional contracts. But yeah, I'm not sure if the whole team. It's
like what we are, isn't it? It's like a hybrid.
Hybrids.
Vast majority of Sunderland are full time. So it's not like, you know, we've got 5 or 6 or whatever. The vast majority of them are, like the new signs all signed full-time contracts. With Portsmouth, I think it's a little bit where, if, you know, they have got a few, but not as many. And it does play a part in fitness. I remember when we first came up, you know, and we were still part-time, we were giving teams a game, but when it was getting to the last 10, 15 minutes, we were just knackered. And teams who've got full-time facilities with coaching, with everything like that, are just going to pick you off. You know, it's just part and parcel of the game. Yeah,
and you just think, hopefully, you know, it's not looking likely, but if they do stay up, then hopefully the highs up in the club will be like, right, we're seeing what we need now in order to compete, in order to go. So just fingers crossed, Portsmouth get something from someone. Hopefully not us, but something from someone.
It's proper sort of just all some Sunderland up as a football club in general, that Portsmouth haven't won a game all season and they beat us. You know, if you're on a bad run, come to Sunderland. That's in the men's or the women's game. I mentioned that with Plymouth a few weeks ago. It is what it is, but I would imagine that, you know, a team as potentially as good as us will beat them twice, but you know, you never know.
And you never know in the championship, do you?
Exactly.
Absolutely not. Right. So if we do have a little look, so Southampton, their goal difference, 9, apparently goal difference 9.
Yeah. So it's only 2 off Birmingham, who've had 2 massive wins already this season. But you look at that league table now. I know Durham, Southampton, and Newcastle all have games in hand. So if they win all all 3 of them,
minus 21. That's
already after 6 games. So it's 3 goals a game they're conceding on average. That's not. You know,
I just want to give them a hug. I think Portsmouth could be new pod favourites at this rate, because we just
the Lewis of this season.
Lewis of this season, absolutely. But yeah, thank you for that, Ant.
No worries. I shall let you go. I feel bad about leaving just with 2 of us.
I mean, we might have a Rosie at some point. We might not. We'll see. But yeah, it's been lovely to see you, mate.
Cheers. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And then there were 2. Right then. 7-0 now. God, I think Barca are the kind of team that as soon as they get one, because it was 10 minutes, then 24, 45, 53, 58, 72.
Yeah, they just accelerate as soon as they find that weak spot. They just
go for it.
relentlessly attack it.
And as much as you don't like them, they can be clinical.
They can indeed.
They can. Right, Paul, let's have a go. Sheffield 1, Birmingham City 2. Now, Simone McGill, ex-Villa, got her first goal in blue, but it was pretty tight score-wise. So yeah, talk us through this one, please.
Sheffield United they're gonna hang with teams, but there's I mean, they put themselves on the back foot because they conceded after 3 minutes. Niamh Herring conceded with practically their first shot, and that's always going to set things. Sorry, it's absolutely hissing down outside, game-wise, like properly coming down. I'm just tidying up the bowl. There we go. So that's why I'm moving around. But yeah, so Sheffield United, for a team whose whole game plan is to hang in games as long as possible, conceding after 3 minutes probably wasn't the ideal. And from that point on, they were always up against it because Birmingham outshot them almost 2-1 away from home. They had as many shots on target as Sheffield United had in the game.
Oh wow!
So that's the kind of level of dominance that they had. But Sheffield United did pull one back, and again, it's one of their younger players. You know, they've got a lot of Sheffield United academy players. Obviously, they've some names that they've produced in the past. The main name that I can think of is Mia Enderby, who is a Sheffield United player, and she obviously has been absolutely ridiculous. She was ridiculous for Sheffield United at 16, 17. She's been one of the top young talents for Liverpool as well. And with players like Eva Butler, they've got that quality, that young quality there, but that inexperience often tells. So they were back in the game, and you know they held on and they weathered against a Birmingham team which, you know, let's face it, is almost lower end NWSL quality with some of the players it's got in there now, the amount of internationals. But you always felt that Birmingham were going to score.
Yeah,
you know, when
they looked dangerous, didn't they, throughout?
When you're following it, watching it, even if you're just keeping an eye on it on Twitter, just the constant flow of Birmingham have a chance, Birmingham have a chance, Birmingham have a chance, and you think this is coming, especially with the way Sheffield United season has gone, and it did, and it was a penalty, and it was Simone McGill, which is a lovely story in itself because Simone's had a bit of bad luck with injuries, to say the least.
She's had a bit of a bad run, hasn't she? Yeah, didn't quite get the chance back at Villa.
Yeah, so it's nice that she is being given an opportunity at Brum.
Yes.
And is now off the mark. And yeah, you feel for Sheffield United because they can hang with teams, but they keep losing these close games rather than winning them.
Yeah.
And that is a worry for Ash Thompson. That is a worry for Sheffield United because teams that keep losing close games go down.
Yeah.
And people might say they
get back up. Yeah.
People might say they undeservedly go down. You know, the number of teams that have said, "Oh, you know, they were so close and they worked so hard, they were unlucky to go down." Yeah, but they lost games 1-0, 2-1.
Yeah, that just wasn't enough.
Which isn't enough. And that is the feel Sheffield United have about them at the moment.
Yeah, they're missing that something, aren't they?
Whereas Portsmouth are just, they're the underdogs, and they get the whip puppies every week. Sheffield United are those. They're almost there, but they're just not quite.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, if we look at this, it's Sheffield and Portsmouth at the bottom, -9 goal difference, still with no points, and it's going to be a battle between the two. But I suppose if you're Sheffield as well, you can think, well, actually, we're doing quite badly, but we've still got Portsmouth as a little buffer underneath.
And they are lucky that Blackburn and, unfortunately, from your perspective, Sunderland haven't really hit the ground running.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, you're absolutely right. I am just laughing in the chat though, because Graham's waiting for a ransom note from Rosie to appear.
You've been taken to Clackett Lane. Let's leave the money at Clackett Lane.
That's where she is. She's at Clackett Lane. I do have to say though, we have got a Rosie update. Said, why doesn't she join from a phone? And she said, because I've got notes on my phone, but she's loading up the iPad. Don't worry. And she's now saying she should have done it in the first place.
Is that the world's slowest iPad?
It's got to be, unless it was dead and just having to charge it a bit before she can get onto it.
She's like I've had to do in the past, where she's actually plugged into the wall and
actually plugged in
the wall, holding it. Because I've had to do that on a phone in the past through my own incompetence. So
if we start hearing piano music, we know it's Rosie. If we start hearing piano music, I'm running because that's creepy as anything.
It's going to be the theme from The Exorcist.
Oh God,
that piano music. It's spooky.
Oh, you know what? There's a box. Way, she's here.
Extreme close up of Rosie.
She's made it back.
Can we all just
well done?
I don't know how you do it in a chat. How you do round of applause? Can everyone in the chat just type applause?
Just lots of claps, please, from Rosie who's made it. I
was on basically my desk, in the loft, has a hole in it, so I had to slide under the desk to get to the charging port things, sockets. Yeah, and then I was trapped there because I couldn't get back out, and I had to slide back out, and now I'm dusty and sweaty. But I'm here.
But you're here to talk about football. In your moment. Everyone's sending their applause, Rosie. It's just for you. It's just for you. All of the applause. And you are here. Have you got a stand or anything? Or are you breaking things? This feels very much, when you watch found footage horror films. And it's just when it just flashes up of, guys, I've made it. And then it all goes horribly wrong.
I can't see the chat on here. Sorry. Continue.
That's great. Graham's just said we've had socket and now I've got plug gate. Yes, absolutely. He's also asked if you're sat in a lift.
Well, she is posh, Rosie. She doesn't have stairs. She has a lift.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
This isn't the right angle, no. Sorry.
This isn't the right angle. Director, Mr. DeMille, I am ready for my close-up.
There we go. Perfect. Found a lovely little stand. I was thinking the same as Matthew. Little Blair Witch project going on.
It's a Chelsea fan adaptation. It's the Kerr Witch project.
Oh, well done.
I was quite proud of that. I was tragically proud of that.
Good one.
Oh, you little face. You're like, yeah, I'm proud of
I was like, yay! And then just no reaction from anybody.
Sorry, I'm too stressed for that right now. How do you work this on an iPad?
I felt like the Williamson
click when it comes out, maybe. You need more options.
Okay, I can see the chat now, but I can't see myself, which is sad.
That's okay. We'll tell you how wonderful you look. It's okay.
I just had the deflated feeling of Leah Williamson appealing for an offside she doesn't get. Have you seen those clips? They're amazing. When she doesn't get an offside and just the absolute outrage.
It's not even offside. Just every chance she gets.
Every chance she gets. I'm feeling like you might be a Chelsea fan, Rosie. I don't know why.
She hides it well.
She does.
Oh,
In fact, she never lets us show at all.
No.
I do think. Did I make it up that Leah's gone off? Yeah, I've made that up. I saw her walking slowly towards the touchline, so I thought she'd been substituted, but apparently not. Stina's come on.
Offside.
That was it. Kate McCabe's gone off for Steph Catley. Beth Mead's come off for Frida Leon Hudson-Monum. And Stina's come on for Caitlin Ford, just in case anyone was interested. And Caitlin Ford also has a yellow card. So well done there. Barcelona, still 7-0. They've had 30 shots, but only 13 on target. So they need to practice. They've had 781 passes. That's
how many of those were sideways? Roughly about 500.
Unfortunately, Google doesn't give us those stats. However, we can we can imagine, we can paint that picture.
Oh, it's 8-0 now. Oh, you have
Oh,
to feel
8-0. I just
Hammered
Hammered. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Google hasn't updated. Still 7 for me. Keep us in the loop. Spenny Fan Chris, thank you very much. But yeah, a miracle that Kate McCabe has not been booked. Absolutely. Rosie, you have joined us. I was going to say perfect timing, but now the ceiling's back again. Hello. Because we left you till last because we wanted you to come back. This was London City Lionesses 2, Charlton 0. That no one saw coming. And I bet you, are you there? You're not?
She is.
I'm here. I've just misplaced my notes. Flashed my phone.
But they're on your phone. You told us.
Yeah, but I can't find my phone, can I?
I can't find my phone. Oh, the screen's turned. Oh, the screen. Yes. Why did I get so excited then? Like,
I'm so sorry about this. Team Chaos.
Oh, Laia
Okay,
Cadena just got
hold
a
on.
yellow card.
Alexa, phone Rosie Dawson.
We're having to get Alexa in on this.
Alexa, where is my phone?
I'm so sorry
Rosie.
for anyone's Alexa that I've just triggered.
Rosie, I don't know where your phone is.
Can you not do a little find my phone?
Well,
Is it like
I normally do that on my phone. Oh,
no, I meant like from a watch or iPad or something.
On the plus side, at least the chat is getting a great idea of what posh lights look like.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Hold on.
There we go. Let's show everybody. There's my ceiling.
If I leave it, will it end?
I don't know. Oh, here we go. I'm truth.
Where did I put my phone?
Sure, that's a really big attic door. But,
I'm
there we
sat
go.
on
There
it.
it is.
Oh, you sat on it after all that.
I found it.
Oh, 3-1 Arsenal. I'm
Yeah,
assuming
just put
Caldente because we're all looking at. Yes, thank you for everyone in the chat for this one. It was a lovely little through ball back to Caldente, picks it up and shoots it over the goalkeeper. Wonderful. 3-1 Caldente. There we go. But yeah, I do have to say, right, I've got to edit this now. So I've got 8-0 Barcelona. We've got 3-1 Arsenal. Just let that go on the bottom. Right. Rosie, Can we talk about London City or not?
This is award-nominated podcasting. This is.
Hey, award nominated.
Can you imagine
Best
this is
women's football we've been nominated for?
Can you imagine this is the? Can you imagine this is the one the judges watch? Like, hello, you know they've got people like Peter Drury on the judging panel and like.
Right, this doesn't happen every week, guys.
journalists.
Well, it does.
That's what it does. Oh, you've got your notes. Here we go. Right. Okay, take it away then, Rosie. Whenever you're ready, we're here.
Okay.
The Clackett Lane Derby. Go for it. What happened?
Thanks. So this game was 2-0 to London City Lionesses. Charlton started off quite well and had a really good shot on the crossbar. And London City I think this was a case of both sides were equally as not good. Almost swore then, didn't. think you can imagine what I was going to say.
We've sworn. Go on.
Anyway, it wasn't good defending, and then Emily Orman made a really good save that kept London City in it. It was kind of just a very even contest, and then in second half, Charlton were defending very badly, and it led to a London City goal. And the second goal came from a counter-attack, and it was a really good counter-attack, and they just put it in the back of the net. So in terms of stats, it's just really even. Like, I think... Did I just
Oh,
say...
I was going to say, I was like, don't keep us hanging there, Rosie. Yeah.
Yeah, London City had 51% possession and Charlton had 49%. Shots on target, it was 5, London City 4, Charlton. Shots 16, London City 13, Charlton. So it's just really similar. They both had 9 fouls. But I think London City just got lucky with a few shots there and came out on top.
That sounds good to me. Yeah, because it just... I'm trying to get the accents on roll for the chat. Sorry, everyone. Little banner. Okay. Yeah, it just... I genuinely thought that there'd be more of a fight within it. I don't think it'd be 2-0. I definitely thought Charlton would have got something. Sorry, Graham. But yeah, I just feel like it was definitely one that I didn't expect. And as Graham said there, much like Anne said about something, we didn't score in the first half when we were slightly better. Second half, we didn't play well at all. Bad day at the office. Yeah, absolutely. And was Izzy Goodwin got the first one, I believe, in that one. Inevitable, as always. And then Sophia Jakobsen with the second, of course, who I thought looked quite similar height-wise to Izzy Goodwin. But no, apparently they're not. But there we go. And Graham says, of course, definitely missing Ellie Brazil. Yeah, absolutely. Graham, do you know how long she's going to be out for? With that one, I think I missed that announcement. But yeah, definitely missing Ellie Brazil.
What are you doing, you pleb of a cat?
Nancy seeing Rosie being Rosie and thought, hold my beer.
She's just showing the internet her ass. Like, honestly,
Rosie have all the attention, you know. It's
like cat only fans. Behave yourself.
Oh dear, this podcast, right? We are talking about football.
Are we?
I mean, who knows at this point? So just to sum up then, even though I have been putting the banner across, Barcelona are now 9-0 up in the 92nd minute. And Arsenal still are winning 3-1, and they're in the 89th-ish minute. But yeah, Vålerenga are not out. They are keeping pushing, hopefully to get something out of this. Right then, let's... Paul, this one's for you. She's got to pay for her medicine somehow, Paul.
Oh wow. That's dark.
Sophie, we miss you.
That is a pitch black joke. That is darker than Nancy's fur. That one.
Hey, it's 10 to 10. It's about that. I need to interrupt this designated podcast because guess who's making their debut back on the pitch? She's coming on.
Oh, is this the famous shirt that outraged the internet back when you were
one of? Yes.
One of.
Yeah, one of. Yeah, for anyone, Lena Hurtig has been missing. However, she's back on the squad lines. She's back in the squad and she's coming on. So I just need to do this. This is her actual shirt, by the way. Still got the tags on. She handed it out end of last season. Whenever Rachel didn't got the golden boot.
Did she never get to wear it because she was injured? So it just still had the...
No, it was... so that was last season, wasn't it? So this would have been the season before. They all had their brand new shirts to go around and give to their fans. And I'd managed to ask her to sign the other one I've got. And then she went, oh, well, do you want that one? I was like, yes, please. So I got given it. So there we go. But she's back. She's back. Because obviously there's been no updates whatsoever. And she's on in the 91st minute for her first minutes back. And Katie Reid is coming on as well. Brand youngster for Arsenal. Yay. Okay. Her Tig, Emma. Her Tig, not hurting. Hopefully she's not hurting anymore. And that's why she's back on with that one. Right. I do have to say, Emma had a really good autocorrect earlier. I don't know if anyone else noticed it. Where it's gone. And so did Graham, actually. Hang on.
Was this football chest?
It was. Forget football chest. I'm here for 2 hours of pure unedited Rosie. Which, of course, meant to be football chat. It's a bit like, did I tell you all that there was a article that had Chastity Grant? Oh, no, Chesty Grant instead of Chastity Grant.
Oh, no.
It autocorrected Chesty. So that was fun. And then instead of Valerenga, I can't find it now, Emma. It was Valeting. Arsenal versus Valeting. Which should have been Valerenga. But yeah,
I had to talk about clean sweeps or something there. But
oh, is that 4-1? 4-1 Arsenal? Yeah, Russo, your favourite Paul, she's got one.
Flat track bully.
Yeah.
Fourth goal in a 4-1 win. All those vital goals, clutch goal scorer.
Makes sense. I love that sounds, but Freya's one of those people who pushes the young kids out the way to grab player shirts. You know what? I've never pushed a child. And I wouldn't. I just want to put that out there. For a football shirt, anyway, or in general. But no, I was the only one asking Lena for her 30 seconds of attention, and she was lovely. No, I get
got
really
an amazing haircut, Lena Hurtig.
I love it.
It's
just so fluffy.
I do like. I think football players, like female football players with pixie cuts, are underrated because there's, particularly when you're watching certain teams, Arsenal, and there's just 11 blonde ponytails. It's nice. It's nice to have people with distinctive haircuts. Like Lena Hurtig has it. Valentina Jacinti has it. It's great. It's my commentator brain, I think.
Yeah.
It just goes, right, I can easily
and just nearly had a shot as well. Oh, that would have been a perfect comeback, wouldn't it? As the final whistle goes, that would have been brilliant. Full time. Thank you, Spenny Fan Chris. Arsenal 4-1. Yeah, would have been the perfect comeback. And that would have been a live reaction to that as well. But yeah, I'm just buzzing just back on the pitch, to be honest. Right then. Shall we have a look at Championship fixtures for the weekend? Anything stand out as ones to watch this weekend? Rosie, we'll come to you first. Anything that you think, yeah, that's going to be a good one?
You can't come to me first, bro.
Why not?
You never do this. You can't just start.
It's the outrage. It's the absolute outrage. You can't come to me first.
You've only been on the podcast for 6 minutes. Come on. You've been faffing about and you're lost. Come on.
You're really putting me on the spot. I think Newcastle, Charlton, and I have a reason. Yeah. I have a reason. Because Charlton obviously didn't go as expected with London City. They might be looking to prove themselves. And Newcastle have had quite a good start to the season, relatively. And I think it could be a good battle.
Thank you for your answer. I will let you go back on mute now. Paul, anything for you that you're looking forward to this weekend?
Obviously the Wearside derby, but
or the A690 derby, as
A690 derby.
As it was nicknamed. Yep.
But also, two that I'm looking at arguably opposite ends of the table. Blackburn, Sheffield United. Big chance for Blackburn to properly put some distance between themselves and the relegation zone, even at this early stage. And Southampton v Birmingham is a very interesting one.
That's going to be a good one, yeah.
Birmingham sitting currently top, but 3 points obviously in the championship between first and sixth. So we could see a lot of movement in that top six this weekend.
Yeah, because 13, 13, 13. The Birmingham, Southampton. Yeah, because if Southampton managed to nick something, that then leaves it wide open for obviously London City not playing this weekend, but leaves it wide open for Charlton to come on in and maybe take that top spot if they do draw. I'm really excited. Yeah, I think Durham Sunderland's going to be a good one, like we said with Ant earlier, just to really push for, how good are we going to be this season? What are we going to do? What's our what's going to happen? Which team's going to show up? And how committed are they to really, really push for to be in with those top contenders like they were last season? But the what's the word I'm looking for? No, it's gone. But yeah, teams this season compared to where they were last season is just mad how much there's been a growth this summer. So yeah, I think any match this weekend, they're going to be really good. So if you're not watching the championship, this is your shout to go and do so, because it literally anything could happen. Right then, we're going to look at some more matches. I'm quite scared of Rosie to ask her if she's ready for her match. So I'll let her have a couple more Pringles, and we'll come to our next. After Paul, you can get us started with your favourite. Man United 3, Spurs 0. Our Liz nearly got a hat-trick, didn't she? But
She did.
Should Spurs have got more out of this game? Yes, they should. Why? So yeah, talk us through this one. 3-0.
So this, I'm actually going to think that Mark Skinner should be given an OBE because because he only profits from other buggers' efforts. Genuinely, just everything that he does. There is no way Man United should have won that game 3-0. Absolutely no way on earth. The reason they won that game 3-0 was because of Liz Turland being an actual number 9. And 2 wonderful finishes. The first one in particular was absolutely out of this world. Like, just the way she was second favourite to get across. The ball goes down to Celine Bizet down the right-hand side. She stands the ball up, just kind of a teasing cross into the middle. But if you're watching that and you watch the replay, Molly Bartrip is first to that 9 times out of 10. The defender had about 2 or 3 steps on Turland.
Yeah. And
just sheer bloody-minded, I'm getting to this goal-scoring instinct from Turland got there first, to the point where she finished it beautifully. But if you watch the replay, you see Molly Bartrip just kind of stand there like, how the,
Yeah, how has that been allowed to happen? Yeah.
So, no, Simon, it wasn't me paying Mark Skinner a compliment, because the OBE did not actually stand for an OBE. Believe me. Other bastards' efforts, because that's how he's a football manager. Not to say that any of the Man United players are, just that's the old joke about what that stands for. But the point I suppose is that, again, the thing with Mark Skinner, he could fall into an open latrine, have Liz Turland and Celine Bizet pull him out, and he would take credit for being pulled out. Even as he stood there dripping in crap, he'd be stood there going, this actually smells of roses. It's the same but different.
I've made it out there.
I made that happen. I'm the person who has got myself out of that crap pit that I should never have fallen into in the first place because it was clearly marked. But I fell in anyway. Someone else pulled me out, and I am responsible for getting myself out of it. But again, Turlin's second goal was your classic back post header. Sorry, tongue tied. Classic back post header. Again, Celine Bizet crossing that in, and I do need to admit to being wrong because I saw Bizet playing right back and thought that was hilarious and thought that it would be an absolute mess, and obviously it wasn't because Bizet to Turlin twice. But that was all Man United really offered. And like you say, for the first half hour in particular, they had no answer to Spurs' press whatsoever. No. They had no fluency. They had difficulty playing out from the back, which again is a whole separate rant in itself about why managers insist on playing out from the back. Stop bloody doing it.
Hate it. Absolutely hate it.
Not quite rosy level, Brexit football and play it long, but there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
But I just, again, Man United have got Brighton this week. They've got Arsenal. They're playing Arsenal at absolutely the worst possible time. Man United are. Because they're playing Arsenal who are motivated, who have got the weight off their back, and who will be looking to send a message. And what better message to send than thumping the team who the media have crowned as having a great start to the season because they've beaten two teams who, not to put too fine a point on it, are shit. And Spurs, who couldn't finish.
Yeah, and that's the thing what Matthew said there. Spurs more clinical in front of the goal, they would have got results, but Turlin's scoring was brilliant. And Tullis-Joyce, Tullis-Joyce has been phenomenal in goal. I'm so glad she's getting a chance.
See, you say that, but I don't think she has. I think she's been made to look good. I'm not saying she's not an excellent goalie.
Yeah,
because she clearly is. But to say that she's phenomenal because she's kept a clean sheet against West Ham and Everton and Spurs when most of the Spurs tactics when shooting on goal didn't seem to have the basic idea of put the ball where the goalie isn't.
So her true test is yet to come then, is it?
Her true test will come against the likes of Brighton, against the likes of Arsenal, if they play Stina Blackstenius up front. And just they are flattering to deceive Man United. They are flat track bullies. And I may be wrong. And Sam, you can clip this 133 in. You can clip this and use it appropriately, either as "see, Paul saw this coming" or "lol, how stupid is Paul." I think Man United will get found out, and it's a matter of time. I think as soon as they play your Brighton, your newly motivated Arsenal, you're definitely against Chelsea, they will get found out, and they will get found out pretty spectacularly.
Mm.
And all of this talk about their amazing defence and clean sheets will fall with the leaves. It'll be gone by, November. Yeah,
and I think it's still so early in the season to be able to say that, isn't it? Because again, if we have a look, they've only played 4/3. Well, United have only played 3, haven't they? Because obviously Chelsea match was called off. So yeah, it's so early on to be making any of those sweeping statements, isn't it? When it comes to that. So yeah, we shall see what the future holds for those. Rosie, are you ready?
That's a tricky question. Because yes, but I'm boiling the kettle. So it's just a bit loud.
Why are you boiling the kettle? What's going on?
I wanted tea.
Getting your water bottle ready for bed? Is that what this is?
Well,
Okay.
kitchen done. I've got a kettle in my room now.
Oh, well, there you go. Hey, these.
If you don't mind a bit of background noise, I am ready.
That's fine. I can do that. Okay, we'll go to Liverpool first then. So Liverpool 1, Man City 2. Bunny Shaw saving the day.
Okay. So, sorry. Liverpool started very well. In the first half, it was balanced. It was kind of like, yeah, Man City are good, but you think that Liverpool actually have what it takes in them. Then they go and score, and you're like, Liverpool can actually win this. So Olivia Smith scored in the 41st minute. It was a very good goal, and it was sort of weird because she immediately fell down, and I thought, oh, she's so happy because she's scored a goal, and I think everyone else did. But then she actually came off injured. So
yeah.
I'm not. Have we got an update on that? I don't know. But
you can find one for you.
Yeah, but I think it looked like when she went to strike the ball towards something. Anyway, she was really good in that first half. I think they missed her in the second half because then Bunny Shaw went and scored in the 58th minute. And from then on, it was all City, and it was only a matter of time before they equalised. Because they had like, I don't know. Hold on, what am I saying?
She has a back injury, apparently, Olivia Smith.
Oh, right.
Back.
And so she will miss. Will she miss, or was that the old She Believes Cup? Yeah, April. So that wasn't it. So typically, guess who substituted her into my fantasy team this week? Gareth
Honestly,
Taylor.
Aaron Bunny Shaw saved me, and Liz Turland. I had the three of them on my front line. They saved me this week.
Gareth Taylor, fantasy team assassin. Just yeah. There were, you know, if there is such a thing as war crimes against fantasy teams, Gareth Taylor is a first ballot fantasy football war criminal.
Yeah.
It does say after going off at half time, haven't really spoken to medical staff about it. I just know there was quite a bump, but that's it.
Well, hopefully she's all right.
Hopefully.
But yeah, I just think the media, there's a lot of narrative about, oh, Man City had the best attack in the WSL. Oh, Man City can attack and they can score goals. Well, they had 14 shots, 2 on target. Liverpool, yeah, and they scored 2 goals, by the way. Question there. Liverpool had 7 shots, 3 on target. So, I don't know. They've got better accuracy there, fewer shots, obviously, but do Man City have the best attack in WSL? Don't know. And then it was dominant. The City had 76% possession. That's quite hard to say. And yeah, I think in the second half you could see who was going to come out on top, but first half was a bit more undecided.
Yeah, it was a bit shaky, and I think everyone was kind of like, "Oh, can this City be beaten?" Because obviously with Champions League coming up, it's, you know, do you rest players? Who do you kind of prioritize? Is it the league? Is it Champions League? Is it, you know, what you're going to do? And yeah, it looked a bit shaky. And it shows that, again, City have had these phenomenal performances, but they are still human, they are still mortal, and they can be beaten. I was just laughing at Graham. I'd love to report on this award-nominated podcast, but I'm bored of Miguel. And it did make me chuckle. Right, Rosie, I'll let you get back to your kettle then. And now we're going to go to... we'll go to me for a change. Aston Villa 0, Leicester City 0. Bit of noutness for me, this one, to be honest. Villa should have won. No offence to Leicester, but they definitely should have. Adriana Leon has to start. I don't know what she needs to do. But yeah, bringing her on with, 15, 20 minutes to go isn't the way. So, Robert, if you're listening and you're watching, please start her. Hopefully, I've got some fellow Villa fans in the chat. Hopefully they'll back us up on this one. But yeah, Emily has said about Olivia Smith, hopefully it's not anything too serious because she was called up to the Canadian squad. So fingers crossed. Yeah, but Villa, I've said this before, they've got a force field around them that's preventing anything from going in the net because the amount of shots they have compared to their score lines is just horrendous. With Paulo Tomas, the red card, of course, in effect, the appeal was dismissed. We all thought Maz Pacheco would come back in. We thought that was pretty expected. But Dan Turner came back in, which was nice because we have missed her. But yeah, it just lots of missed chances throughout. Anna Patton probably became the closest to getting a goal, but right in the dying moments of the game. I don't think we all appreciated how close she was until we watched the replay. But yeah, it was so close, but just not enough. So Villa had 16 shots, okay? Only 4 were on target. So whatever's happening in training, that clinical finishing just needs to improve, and accuracy from set pieces as well. Because I think they had 12 in the cup game the other night and nothing came from them. And you think, you should at least be getting something from, every couple of set pieces, if not everything. So something's gone wrong somewhere. And Leicester, they're the team that we should be getting the 3 points against. At least they got one. They did get a draw, so it wasn't a complete waste of time. But yeah, they should be getting the win, to be fair. Would have been perfect to have a Jordan Nobbs screamer because she was presented with her 193 shirts for WSL appearances. So that would have just made it perfect, to be honest. Leicester had some opportunities as well, but nothing really troubled Sabs. And Leipzig had to be kept on her toes for a couple of Villa goals. Well, Villa shots, should I say. Definitely not goals. But yeah, that one ended 0-0, and it was just a bit disappointing. The attendance, and again, I think Emily, you said this earlier in the chat, was about 2,700, I think. So again, I think we averaged about 4.5, 5 at Bescott last season. So it'll be interesting to see how many people do keep coming to Villa Park with attendance wise, and will they still come on a sad rainy cold night in December for that one. Matthew's asked, what do I think about Lisa Parker being called up? Yes, she needs it, she deserves it. She's phenomenal. She got injured at the last one, so hopefully England, if you're listening, if you're watching, please bring her back unscathed this time. That'd be nice. But yeah, she definitely deserves it. Maz Pacheco has also switched her allegiance to the Philippines, so she's going to be starting for them. She's been called up, which is phenomenal. And now when you look at the Villa squad, we've got so many internationals, and you think, right, that can only be a phenomenal thing to help the squad. So yeah, people are already calling for DePau to be gone. I don't know if it's the whole Jonas out situation that everyone's like, yeah, get rid of the manager. He's literally been in charge for 4 games, guys. Can you just chill? Like, it's a couple of games. We're not playing terribly. He just hasn't found the perfect starting 11 yet, and that's okay. If it's still, by Christmas, by the end of the season, and we're still not gelling, questions should be asked. But yeah, I think we all need to stop being like the men's game and just, 3 matches, you're gone. Like, you need time, and you need time to implement it. So yeah, it's just a bit bizarre. And it's all the same people that wanted Carla gone as well. So I think they just like a change of manager, to be honest, if things aren't perfect. There she is, and you should know. 2,912. Basically the same as Spurs, even though it was an earlier kickoff. So yeah. Does it feel like to you two as well that attendances seem to have been going down across the league?
They have.
Yeah.
Like, statistically, there was a thing the other day that in last season, something like 6 of the 11 teams saw a drop in attendance. Wow. In the WSL.
Yeah.
So the 12 teams, saw a drop of attendance. Weird how it's not the big 4 though. Although, again, Arsenal's attendance, attendance trophy 2024 banners and whatever else dropped from 40,000 for the marquee game to 25,000 to Everton, and didn't really go back up. You'd think for Chelsea they'd have broken 50,000, and they didn't.
Yeah, not surprised.
Even with the boost of Chelsea's massive away following, Chelsea are probably going to take 4,000 or 5,000 to an away game at the Emirates. And and it's something people don't really want to say about the move to big stadiums in general, and how showpiece games are perhaps not representative of how much people want to watch women's football. They are the days out.
Well, it's what we've said for a while, isn't it? Like the big four have got fans from all over the world. So people will plan in advance and they will come and they'll make a big day of it and they'll do a stadium tour and they'll do like all of the big things because it's more of an occasion. Whereas if it's every Sunday, people are going to be like, oh, I'll just go next week. Like there's not that urgency to make sure you go to that game. So these 60,000s, even though how wonderful they are, they're not representative of the people.
Man United having to move games away from Old Trafford because nobody wants to turn up.
That's the thing. That was the was it the West Ham match that they had to move people around and close stands because that was opening day, wasn't it? But then the Crystal Palace one, they've moved it back to Lee, haven't they? It's in November.
Some Man City fans have been saying the Man City game at the Emirates is going to cause discourse because the ticket sales are horrific. Like apparently they're like 4,000.
Oh.
So there's still a few weeks to go, but 4,000 in the Emirates.
4,000. That's mad.
By the way, you can't actually mention this about big teams because if you do, their fans will come for you if you point out that 15,000 people turned up for a second tier game. Apparently,
I can't believe you got so much crap for that.
I mean, that tweet did numbers because we have an award-nominated podcast. Jackie Oatley, shared it. I couldn't quite believe it. I got a bit of I got a buzz out of being shared by a famous person. Oh, the Irish commentators, they're shameless people. No, it just went all the way up, and I'm like, why is that done? Oh, that's why that's done that.
Yeah. That's where that's come from.
But also the amount of stick from people, the insecurity of certain fan bases is genuinely, and I don't know whether it's new fans, I don't know what it is, but it's wow. Like, are you okay, women's football? Seriously?
It's bizarre, isn't it? Because it's certain fan bases, and I don't know if it's because there's a lot more of them, so they come across as a lot louder. But it almost seems like you can't just have an opinion anymore, even if like some people take it too far and they're horrible and whatever. Like, get on those people, but when you're just trying to make a comment or you're trying to have a conversation and people just completely jump at you and you're like, whoa, hang on.
Well, it's blatant as well because Girls on the Ball put a tweet out saying, this is the worst we've ever had it. We commented on the London Derby and some of the stuff is not okay. And it made me laugh because I saw accounts appear in there who I've got muted because of the amount of stick I got. And eventually I reached the point where I'm like, I've had enough of this. I'm like, here is, Siri, show me irony, and just called one of these people out and just went, it's weird, this, isn't it? They were Arsenal fans, I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's such a bizarre. We've said it before, social media can be a fantastic place, but it can also be an absolute cesspit. And it's working your way through all of the issues that people have got. And and to find people who you can have a conversation with and you can, have an intelligent, discussion about. Yeah, you're not going to agree on everything with everyone, but you just want to be like, hey, this is my point. Okay, I'll listen to yours. And that's it. That's all people need to do. You don't have to get angry and argue and, because some of the things we've read over the past couple of days have been horrendous. The Mr. Arsenal podcast, hello, says, I expect sales will go up now Jonas is gone and results will start getting better. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's some people go, oh, it's lovely when they're winning. We'll go because they'll probably win, rather than the people who are like, that's my team. I'll turn up every week. So it's still that bit of disparity between the types of fans as well, isn't it? Between who's going to go. So that one. So we were talking about Villa. That one. But yeah, I think Matthew put in the chat as well. Where's it gone? Villa need to start playing Leon. Yep, good. Same as me. And it be more clinical. Yeah, absolutely. And they are the big issues with that one. So next up, let's come to Paul. We'll come back to you for Crystal Palace 0, Brighton 1. I was gutted Crystal Palace didn't get a point from this. Yeah. Annabelle Blanchard.
Just again, it's you worry sometimes about Palace because they lose these close games, and Bruno Villamala getting what I believe is her first goal in the Brighton shirt.
I believe so. Yeah. Well. Was it a foul though? Paul?
The bear shit in the woods. like honestly, it just made me laugh when the WSL, the BBC WSL coverage, obviously because they can't force an opinion, they put a picture of literally Shea Inez being held down by Nikita Paris, like both arms wrapped around in a bear hug.
Yeah,
and it's like, was this a foul?
Yes.
Yes, it was. I think it was a fairly blatant one. I've only seen one more blatant miscarriage of justice, and that was in an FA Cup semi-final. But no, I'm still not over it. But when you look at the stats, this is a game where Palace will genuinely come away with, how have we not got a point there?
Yeah.
Because finishing was not brilliant from both teams, because Brighton were 13-3, 13 shots, 3 on target. Palace were 11-4. So technically Palace had a higher percentage. And you look at it and you think, firstly, Palace are now sat 8th, which admittedly, after only 4 games, on the one hand, you look at it and go, it's only 4 games. On the other hand, you look at it and go, nearly a quarter of the season. And they're sat, several places above the relegation zone comfortably. And they are pushing teams who have started strongly now. After the welcome to the WSL hammering and the welcome to Chelsea hammering, they've got those 2 games out the way. They've properly started to find a rhythm, and obviously they've got their first win, and they're starting to be the Palace that we thought they were going to be.
Yeah,
which bodes well for them.
It does indeed. Because again, if we look at the table, Everton at the bottom, West Ham, Leicester, Villa, Palace in 8th. So regardless of that -10 goal difference after, the Chelsea game that we don't talk about, they're still up there. They're still holding their own.
That goal difference will improve as well.
Yes.
That only stands out because it's early season.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And again, when you've got players like Annabelle Blanchard, you're gonna have some really, really good crackers with that one. But yeah, I was really sad that they didn't get a point there, because I felt like they should have for that one. Right then, We'll come back to me, Everton West Ham, and then Rosie can talk about the one that everyone's here for. So for this one then, it was Everton 1, West Ham 1. Overall, a good point for both of them, because both teams haven't got off to a good start, have they? As we've just seen in the table, Everton and West Ham are both at the bottom, so they needed something from this match. On paper, the game should have been Everton's. 16 shots, 6 on target, compared to 14 and 4 for West Ham. But they also had 15 fouls each, which just shows you the type of game it was. It was a bit scrappy. It was a bit, but it was good. It was good fun. Now, West Ham's opening shot, though, took advantage of Everton's defence. No complaints. It was a really nice goal. But the game was largely dominated by Everton, and our T-Pin, Tony Pin, looked very dangerous on the ball indeed whenever she got onto it. The equaliser, though, to West Ham's annoyance, Everton, again, just couldn't find the back of the net. They had some decent shots, but just nothing came of it. Melissa Lawley crosses into the box, and whether it was meant to be a cross, whether it was meant to be a shot, whatever it was meant to be, took a huge deflection off Camilla Sayers and found the back of her own net. And to be fair, 1-1 was probably fair because, again, like I've said, neither team really came forward to do much with it. But I will say both Shemek and Brosnan had to be on their toes. And yeah, they both had a really good game. So a point is a massive advantage for them both. So yeah, so again, fingers crossed they can both keep building. But let's just bring it back. They've only got 2 points, but mind you, so have Leicester and Villa as well. So honestly, the bottom of that table, there's hardly anything in it whatsoever. Now, let's talk about the showcase of the weekend. But actually, overall, Rosie, was it? I tell you what, I won't say anything. Rosie, I'll let you talk about it. We've got 2-1. Chelsea did win. However, was it their best performance?
No.
Good. I'm glad we agree. That's fine.
Anyway, moving on. Lioness's squad.
No, so this was. Can I put some perspective? This is Chelsea's first ever win at the Emirates. So they won away at Arsenal before, but they've never beat Arsenal at the Emirates.
Have they not?
No. Insane.
Oh.
Genuinely haven't.
Thank you for that fact.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Cheers.
But I think Chelsea started the game really well. Obviously, Mara Ramirez. I don't think anyone was expecting a goal in the 4th minute from either team. That was crazy. Obviously, Leah Williamson called for the offside. Don't know. Don't really know where she got that from. Maybe she's just a bit of a teacher's pet. But yeah,
you tell it.
Despite some sexist pricks on Twitter, it was a very good goal. And yeah, I think Chelsea just started off with that momentum and they looked like they had that drive in them to win. But Arsenal just kind of didn't. And then in the second half, Arsenal managed to kind of get a bit back in them. Also, the second goal was Sandy Baltimore. She was...
Yeah.
If you look around her, there's not a defender in 5 miles of her.
Yeah.
Insane. Because you look at the way Arsenal played and you thought, yeah, they're all right. But just some moments, you think, what are they doing?
She's completely switched off, yeah.
Yeah, that's a left back that's just gone up in the box and scored a header. It was, horrific. It was awful. And you just think there's no one marking her. And I don't know, I don't want to criticise anyone. However, I'm going to. You think, with the hate that Manuela Zinsberger has got, Van Domselaar kind of did the exact same thing when she let in that first goal.
I knew this was coming.
And no one talks about it. With the amount of screenshots of Manu going, or whatever she does, no one spoke about Van Domselaar apart from some sexist pricks. I didn't see any Arsenal fans going, oh, she should have gotten that. And also, as a goalkeeper, it's your job to be in charge of your defenders. So she needs to be shouting. I don't know if maybe she's not gotten comfortable enough with her teammates yet. She's still quite new. But you need to be shouting. You need to be going, mark her, do this, do that. And I think that Manuela has that kind of authority in the box that maybe Van Domselaar just doesn't.
Well, that's what we said when she was at Villa. She's really quiet. And even, I think it was Anna Patton came out and said, she's really nice, she's really good, but we need it shouted at us. And she just doesn't. So,
and I think that Zinsberger has that authority and that Van Domselaar just doesn't. So, I think that's a massive part of Arsenal's defending. Oh, fair enough then. But I didn't see anyone on Twitter, any Arsenal fan at least. But that was the first half. And then Arsenal kind of came out in the second half and you thought, this is getting a bit shaky. I think they might be able to score here. But they just could not produce anything. And they had 20 shots, 4 on target. In contrast, Chelsea had 11 shots, 6 on target. So Arsenal just can't find the back of the net, and that's the root of all their problems. And I think, even Paul said on Twitter, they don't have that clinical number 9. Chelsea have Myra Ramirez. Liverpool have Bunny Shaw. No. City have Bunny Shaw.
The award-nominated Best in Women's Football podcast, everyone.
I meant Liverpool have Olivia Smith and City have Bunny Shaw. That did not come out right, but
clip it.
Liverpool wish they had Bunny Shaw.
Yeah, they do.
Arsenal don't have that clinical number 9. They had the possession. They had 56% possession. They had the shots, but they just couldn't find the back of the net. But Chelsea could. And that's where, they had 9 corners apparently. I mean, I didn't want to get started on Arsenal and corners because I'm never
saying apparently.
Well, yeah, because 9 and Chelsea had 3.
Yeah, 9. There you go. Yeah, and 3 offsides. So it didn't just happen the once. 3 offsides.
Oh, Stina Blackstone, probably.
But Stina Blackstone, she's never offside. Have you not heard this song?
Not. But yeah, you look at the stats and you just, how did Arsenal not come out on top? I mean, I'm very grateful, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Isn't it just one there? No one says if we keep Russo quiet, we might win the game.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
I mean, I feel like I've spoken way too much about Arsenal. So I'm going to stop that because I don't want to. But yeah, from a Chelsea perspective, we got lucky in a way, but they also managed to keep them quiet. And I think that that's a success because, a win is a win, obviously.
Yeah.
And managed to win away at Emirates for the first time. And also, it wasn't the best game. And we saw in the Real Madrid game on Tuesday, Chelsea were comfortably winning and then let Madrid into the game.
Yeah.
And they have a habit of that. And it's not good. Arsenal should have been cut off by the second half. We should have been thinking that there's no way they're going to get back into this. But somehow they let them back in and Caitlin Ford managed to score. So it's just that thing. And I don't want to see a trend there, but I think there might be a trend there.
Do you think there's still a bit of a disconnect between, because obviously Sonia's still very new, the whole team as a unit is still really new. Is it just something as simple as they just need a bit more time?
I think it might be, yeah. I mean, the fact that Sonia's managed to produce 3 wins from the first 3 WSL games is crazy. I don't know when the last time that happened was, but that certainly wasn't an Emma Hayes thing. But yeah, I think they're different managers and it's going to take a while to get used to this because it is pretty much a whole new team.
Yeah.
We've got new players, new manager, and we're winning though. So it's kind of like you don't really want to, I don't know, complain that much.
Still getting the job done.
She's producing results. Yeah, she's getting the job done. But I think we need to see a bit of an improvement in a few areas.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think Alex Greenwood said it the other week. She was like, you win dirty. No, you win ugly. Sorry, not dirty. That's a completely different podcast. But yeah, you win ugly because you just get the points. You do what needs to be done. You get it done, and at the end of the day, that's what gets you titles, isn't it? No one's going to go, oh well, actually, you could have been a bit tighter there and whatever because you got the 3 points. So yeah, it'll come. The Chelsea, it'll come. Now, I was going to ask then, so Champions League again tomorrow, and the team are away to FC20. Feeling good about this one, Rosie?
Yes and no.
Okay, yeah, so, talk us through it. What do you think?
I trust that we can win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's always a bit scary playing away in the Champions League because you don't have that home support. 20 have been on a good run lately, and it's I think it's going to be tough because a lot of Chelsea fans, I don't want to criticize them, but they seem to think, oh, they're in the Netherlands, they don't play in the Champions League a lot, we're going to beat them, but
you can't afford to think that though, can you?
You
need to take every team as it comes. Yeah,
exactly, and you can't become complacent in that. And I do think we've got what it takes to win this. Yeah. However, it is still a bit, like shaky.
Yeah, because it's only been what 2 match days out of 6, so it's still building as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
getting into that mindset. Because same with St. Paul said earlier, like they were winning against Man City, and again, those people who haven't really seen St. Paulton much before were probably like, yeah, City gonna win it, City gonna whatever.
Exactly, yeah. And St. Paulton and 20 are those types of teams where they can surprise you. And a lot of people tend to write them off, but really shouldn't do that.
No, you can't. And again, that's when that complacency comes in, doesn't it? If you think, oh yeah, we'll win this, then you might not be as sharp, you might not do it. Obviously they're professionals and we trust that they do, but yeah, you don't want to get into that mindset of maybe thinking, yeah, it's fine, we've got this one.
Do you worry, Rosie, as a Chelsea fan, that Chelsea
yes.
a fan, but well, just yes, okay, end of conversation. No, that it's always struck me in the past looking at it that Chelsea fans, as a fan base, have this tone where it's like we know we're good and we expect high things, but we also know we have to earn them. Whereas certain other teams are like, we were good in 2007, so we should always be up near the top. Do you think that Sonia Bompastor's kept that going? Because the way she reacted to the second goal, to Sandy Baltimore's goal, was really telling for me, because it wasn't, she's been sold as this very, very cool continental tactician. And that was the first time we saw, proper Emma Hayes style reaction from her. And it's like, do you think she's getting more comfortable as Chelsea manager now, and she's more comfortable in saying, right, okay, yeah, now I can start demanding and getting pleased when my demands are met?
Yeah, I think we're almost getting to know her more, because even before she joined us, I saw French media saying, oh yeah, she's a right laugh and she's great, but we hadn't seen that side of her before, maybe because she only spoke in French. But I think we're starting to see that in the press conferences, and she's got a bit more of a personality than you see with a lot of football managers. And yeah, she's starting to show us that with the celebrations. And she's she's also making an active effort to thank the fans, and a few interviews I've seen, she's just so grateful for all of us, and I love that, because we got that from Emma, but a lot of managers don't do that, and they don't take the time to thank the fans, and they don't really see them as this extra energy boost, which they are, and more of like just a they're an audience, they're watching us. But because the fans are so important, they're what drive you, they're what get results. And I think that Chelsea fans, I mean, as you said, we expect results. And yeah, we kind of have that same winning mentality as the players. I think you won't meet a Chelsea fan that's not extremely competitive.
Really? Funny that.
Yeah, I genuinely think
I thought you were the exception.
I thought you were like some chilled, Rosie. I don't know where that's coming from.
I think that's where I get it from.
You normally so calm and
drive to win, and Sonia shares that. So yeah, I think it's
proper Chelsea.
Yeah.
Because Matthew is a Chelsea fan in the chat, and he and I do sport, and he often talks to me because me and him work together on the sports show and stuff, and know each other, and he often talks to me about proper Chelsea, and I never quite got it until recently, like with Lauren, the way Lauren James acts and the way you act in quizzes, and like it's like
compare me to Lauren James. Like that.
You are the Lauren James of quizzes. Lauren James of trivia quizzes. There you go.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
That's high praise indeed.
But also, speaking of teacher's pet, I've got to ask you about this because you kind of mentioned it, but you promised a rant on this and you haven't really ranted on it. Leah Williamson having a kick at Hannah Hampton. Yes. Did you see the face? Here we go.
Here we go.
Tell him. Oh, the hair's going back and everything. It's like,
yeah. I'm gonna start somewhere else here, actually.
Okay.
So, Erin Cuthbert, can't remember who she pushed or whatever, but she pushed someone, and Sandy Baltimore got a yellow card for it.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, that's insane to me. If a ref doesn't see something, you don't give a card for it because she obviously didn't see Sandy push someone because she didn't do that. So that really, really baffles me, and I hope that Chelsea can appeal that or whatever because that's stupid. But you see the media, they saw that moment and they didn't even talk about it being given to the wrong person. They spoke about was Erin lucky to not have a red. Firstly, if she was already on a yellow, she wouldn't have done the second foul. So no, she wouldn't have had a red card. And why are you not talking about, firstly, not Erin not getting a red, but the card being given to the wrong person? Because that is baffling. I mean, if you don't see someone, don't give anything for it, because there's no VAR, obviously. You can't look back. Or you get the linesman, you say, did you see what happened? And they said, yeah, but Erin pushed her, right? That's shocking. Anyway, now on to Leah. I haven't seen this clip once from a media organisation, from an Arsenal fan, from anyone that's not a Chelsea fan or Paul, right? I haven't seen it. And if you haven't seen the clip, because you probably haven't, unless you're on Chelsea Twitter or Paul's Twitter, Hannah Hampton kind of catches the ball, lets it go a bit, and it's a bit loose. Leah Williamson decides to just have a kick around and just kicks Hannah Hampton. And it's, I don't know what happened. I don't know what she was thinking. Maybe she thought that the ball was still loose. But by this time, Hannah's got the ball. And I've not seen this mentioned at all, but that's a clear yellow, and it even has questions raised for a red. Ref didn't seem to see it. BBC Sport didn't seem to see it because they were too caught up with Erin Cuthbert. But how is that not given? And the media is definitely the lionesses thing or whatever. She thinks she can get away with anything she wants. But yeah, I'm not going to rant about that anymore because I will go on all night.
You forgot the best bit when Kadisha Buchanan came in and just went, nope. And absolutely floored Leah Williamson.
Got that on purpose.
That's proper Canada. That is proper ice hockey, that is. You can tell she blew it. Can tell Kadisha Buchanan played ice hockey very much. Absolute wipe out anybody going near you, goalie.
Quite funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Paul, did you put up, was it you that put up the rules of what it is to have the ball safe? Is that you?
Yeah. and it's one hand, and it's to have one hand on the ball and have it under control, but either in two hands or with one hand and something else. So one hand against the body, one hand pulled in on the ground. So if Hampton's lying on it with pressure on the ball, even if Williamson can see the ball, she can't kick at it. Under the rules of football, it's a yellow card. It's reckless play. It's dangerous play.
Yeah.
And so all the Arsenal fan base going, oh, have you ever played football? She's entitled to go for that. It's like, yeah, I've played football. I've played other sports as well, and where technically, my sport, and I know again I return to ice hockey because Buchanan, but also because I play it as well. If the puck's there, you can have a pressed against the goalie's badge. You can have a whack at it. You're still going to get absolutely taken out, and you're still probably, if you have a whack at it in a dangerous manner, the referee is probably going to go, You've had a slash at the goalie there. That's 2 minutes.
Mm.
So, and it wasn't just one kick either. It was two distinct, obvious kicks. Even after Hampton pulled it in, particularly from the angle that you can see. And I think, and again, one of the points that I said, and again, if that's Lauren James on Daphne Van Domselaar, certain sections of women's football Twitter are losing their minds and talking about attitude and talking about, oh, it's just what Lauren James does. She's proved it. With Leah, it's, oh, the ball was there to be won. No, it wasn't. Not on the rules of the game, it wasn't. And she would know that as an England captain. She'd know what she was risking, and she still had a kick at it.
Still did it anyway. Yeah. And it just shows you, there was at the match on Sunday, there was a guy sitting a couple of rows behind me, and you could tell he's come over from the men's game, which one is great, but his comments stuck out, and he went, "Are you for real? Is this the standard of refereeing? This is atrocious." And I think it just really symbolized everything that everyone's been saying. If you are expecting a high class qualified league, you need to treat your refs with the respect to make them full time, to give them that support, to give them that practice, because we don't want to be sitting here going, well, that should have been a yellow, that should have been a red. Like, that shouldn't be our job. That shouldn't be even a discussion. It should be, they're a qualified ref. We trust their judgment and we trust it going forward. But it really resounded that he'd said that. So I was like, yeah, and it is. And I think when you're in it, it becomes what's a ref doing now? Like, oh, it's another decision against you. And not that we've accepted it, but it's become a thing of, oh, well, it's the standard now. So it was interesting to hear a fresh perspective on it, of how obvious it is that it needs to improve. But yeah, you're right. If that was someone else, then there would have been, hell would have broken loose. And Twitter's been enough of fire and brimstone this week, hasn't it? without any more of that. But yeah, it's interesting what the mainstream media pick up. And what they choose to either comment or not comment on. Absolutely. JBL's put there, has to improve. I'm a Chelsea fan, but she was shocking for both sides. Yeah. And normally, because it was Cheryl Foster, wasn't it? Usually she's all right. Usually I'd quite rate her, but it was a bad match. It was a bad match, to be honest. But yeah, so hopefully as what are we now? The WPLL, whatever name they're going to decide on. Hopefully, as they grow, they can see that that's a massive thing that they need to improve on, and it gets better for the future. So one last thing I'm going to touch on then before we let everyone go. Lionesses squad was announced today. Excuse me. And for the under-19s and under-23s as well. But seniors, there was a big question on goalkeepers. But of course, we do have Mary Earps, Hannah Hampton, and Anna Moorhouse, no Kiara Keating. Would we agree with those three? Was it a surprise not to see Keating there? Or do we think that's the right decision? Rosie, anything?
I think, I mean, initially it was a bit of a surprise, but she's not been playing.
Yeah.
And I think with goalkeepers particularly, if they're in form and if they're playing, you select them. But when she's been on the bench for Man City all season, you think, firstly, is there a reason for that? Is there something going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of?
Yeah.
Obviously had some legal trouble that we probably can't talk about on here. But is that something behind the scenes? But yeah, she's gone from Man City's number one to being on the bench, and it's kind of a very odd situation because Man City went overboard with buying keepers in the summer, and there's got to be a reason for that. Because if you've got a solid starting keeper, I don't know how many they bought, but you don't just go and buy 3 or 4 more. So it's, I mean, Chelsea certainly wouldn't. Well,
maybe not Chelsea.
Except maybe they actually did, but they wouldn't at the moment now that they've got Hannah Hampton.
Yeah.
So it's, there are questions there as to why that's happened, but I think it was the right decision because she's not playing. It's quite simple.
Yeah, because, and again, people have been talking about, Serena, she wants you to be playing for club to be in a chance of getting in there. And then we had people being involved in the squad who hadn't been playing. It was Esme Morgan last time. But this time, it's been questions, of course, about Chloe Kelly, which there shouldn't be discourse around Chloe Kelly being selected because we know what she's like. But Serena said something like, Paul, was it you that brought this up? That she's got credit with us? That she wasn't weird. A question? Yeah, that was a bit weird. Talk us through that. What was your reaction to that?
I think that it's a very, very strange thing for an international manager who has previously said that players playing minutes is the most important thing to say. That makes sense? Who has said that to her, players playing minutes is the most important criteria for selection, to then go and say about a player who isn't playing minutes. There you go. That's me making it clear. Yeah. In Serena we trust and all that, but there are some players who are clearly in that squad because Serena considers them very, very good players, as is her right as an England manager. But all managers, as soon as managers fall into the trap of having favourites, that can be considered an issue. As long as it works, it's brilliant. And it has worked for Serena amazingly.
Yeah.
But to openly say things like, oh, yeah, she may not be playing, and yeah, you're right to ask the question, given I've said that players who get in the squad play, but we're going to pick her because of stuff she's done in the past. Nobody's interested in what you've done in the past. You can't build a future based on what you've already done.
Yeah.
Did that make sense? It sort of made sense in my head.
And
I thought I was trying to be too profound.
Well, it's all about how informed you are, isn't it? And if you're kind of up to the task of these internationals.
If she's clearly not even considered good enough to start for her club to the point where she's agitating for a move.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly. Then she is not good enough to be in an England squad when there are players who are performing as well as her and who can make better use of that chance.
Yeah. She found it a bit bizarre. Because people like Nikita Paris, Jordan Nobbs, the way they've been playing, it's a shame that people like that, like on the fringe, can't seem to break in because There are players who maybe aren't in form, but they're in favour with Serena. Sophie just said there, I was talking to a Dutch fan last year who said it's one of her faults. She had clear favourites that she'll pick every time. And yeah, that's it. So just having a quick run through then. So defenders, we've got Millie Bright, Lucy Bronze, Jess Carter, Alex Greenwood, Maya Letessier, Esme Morgan, Lucy Parker's back, Leah Williamson, and Lotte Wubben-Moy. Even though she's been ruled out of Arsenal's match tonight with the injury, so fingers crossed that will be soon. In midfield, we've got Grace Clinton, Fran Kirby, Jess Park, Georgia Stanway, Ella Toon, and Kira Walsh. And forwards, we've got Aggie Beaver-Jones, Lauren Hemp, Lauren James, Chloe Kelly, Beth Mead, Jess Naz, and Alessia Russo. Were there any obvious omissions for either of you from this list, or was it pretty much expected? And again, if anyone's got them as well, put them in.
I am sorry. You probably heard the reaction in the background. That's just because One Direction's Liam Payne has passed away, aged 31.
Hey?
Yeah, Mr. Arsenal saying breaking news that Liam Payne is concerning Liam Payne, and basically Kerry sat next to me reacting with full on what on earth. Apparently, he's passed away.
Oh God!
Which is
crap. Former One Direction star has been found dead. The 31-year-old singer died outside a hotel in Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires. He'd reportedly fallen from the 3rd floor of the building.
Jeez, that's horrific. That is.
That is horrific. So yeah, don't tell you we don't bring the news, everyone. Bloody hell.
But yeah,
that's on Team Chaos tonight, did we?
Yeah, but that's just kind of wow. But that's one of those things. I know it's cliche, but that's one of those things where we're sat here arguing about whether or not players should be playing football, and then you have the world that has moments of deciding to
really screw you up about what.
At the end of the day, we're sat here chatting about football, which and stuff like that's happening.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, that's really brought the mood down for everyone, isn't it? But
it's one of those that you never expect anyone to pass away. But when it's someone who is 31, unexpectedly, like that's, yeah. And Graham's put it beautifully there. Life's too short. Don't spend it arguing on Twitter. Exactly. Cherish every day. And Graham, I did start what you said earlier about why I love the podcast so much. It's a safe space where all are welcome and everyone's opinions are valid. Yeah, absolutely. So people can come here, have a chat, and know that there are people who are willing to listen. And just willing to get involved. And that's one of the main reasons. Yes, we are ridiculous and we are chaotic, but at the heart of it, we're a family, aren't we? We're a community. And I think moments like this, as much as it's completely changed the mood of what we were talking about, it kind of brings it back to why we're doing it and why we're here. So we love you all in the chat. But yeah, it's a shame it's come to this note, but overall for England, we've got two matches coming up, 2 internationals. Again, they're friendlies, and they're new tests for Serena and the squad, and hopefully they do their best. No apologies necessary, mate. It was kind of a breaking news thing that we needed to share with you all. But much love to everyone. And we're all here together for that one. Now, with that one, so the team has been announced. Some fantastic talent, by the way, in the under 23s, like we said, and under 19s as well. So the future of the Lionesses looks very bright as well, indeed. There is more Champions League games on tomorrow. We have mentioned it's FC Twente versus Chelsea, but there's also Real Madrid Celtic at 5:45, and Galatasaray Roma at 5:45 tomorrow as well. And there's also one more, but it's not loading up. Bear with. 4th of September. Hang on, it's loading up the wrong way. Yeah, Wolfsburg-Lyon, of course. How can we miss that one? So 20 and Chelsea and Wolfsburg and Lyon are both 8 o'clock, and then the other two are at 5:45. So nice and staggered like they were tonight. So yeah, I think, shall we leave it there both? And we'll bring our lovely pod to a close. So we are award nominated, as we keep mentioning. The award ceremony is in November. I think quite a few of us, if we can, are going to go down to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and just embrace the night, and again make the most of these memories, and how lucky we are to be nominated and be in that room. So thank you for everyone in the chat. We absolutely love you getting involved, and again, like we said, being a part of this community. So we are live each Wednesday talking about women's football, but Monday is the Premier League show, and Thursday is Lower League as well, who are also nominated, Best in Non-League. And if you do want more updates, here's where you can find us. So on Twitter or X, we are at Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube at Absolute Football Podcast, and the same on Twitch. On TikTok, we are at Absolute Football Pod, and Instagram and Threads, Absolute Football Podcast with an underscore, and on Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. And you can see all of our lovely little faces there. And keep an eye out as well. We're doing some features on Meet the Team, so you get a little bio of all of us. So look out for those in the coming weeks. So Rosie, thank you very much. Through all your trials and tribulations, where can people find you if...
I'm exhausted now. That was a lot.
You've had a long day.
I haven't got my thing, wherever it is, because I'm on the iPad. But rosiedawson.14 on Instagram and TikTok, and rosiedawson_14 on Twitter, where you can find me ranting about Chelsea.
And from an attic, from a shed, with a kettle. Who knows where you will be next. Spot the Rosie. And Paul, thank you very much. Where can people find you?
If I can get my fingers properly. There we go. Not by Eidevall. That's the thing for this week, although that would be a heck of a Twitter name. It is at Paul W Radio, and I'm usually there annoying Man United fans by posting attendances, or apparently being the only media source who isn't on Chelsea Twitter to mention Dear Williamson trying to kick Hannah Hampton in the head. So, like,
and that's why we need you, Paul. We need you for advice. Thank you. And yeah, if you want to follow more of me, I'm at T Writes on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, possibly. And also brand new Villa Women podcast on Thursday nights, tomorrow at 8 o'clock on YouTube. We are called Part of the Pride Pod. So you can find us on there as well. And again, across all socials. So thank you very much. As always, we'll be back again next Wednesday. And we hope to see you back again too. So thank you very much. Good evening and good night. Thank you. Bye.